why the world's largest mega project collapsed. And I'm assuming it's about the line in Abu Dhabi, I think. The long line they were going to build. I don't know what happened with it. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's about something else. I don't know for sure. I do remember reading articles about this, watching news snippets about this, but how they're going to build a huge line across the desert that's going to have everything futuristic, everything you need to live. So I'm curious what happened.
Promised a science fiction future.
Hopefully the laws are fine.
The world's largest city by GDP. What you have today is a project that has collapsed in all its major elements. NEOM was the
What? An unrealistic project that would require trillions of dollars to complete collapse? No way.
Of the ambitious plan to pivot Saudi Arabia away from oil.
Into that future one.
Scenes,
I mean,
the project's own
I understand the idea because crude oil is such a finite source. You're going to have to diversify at some point. And if you want to replace everything running on oil with something sustainable, then you're going to have to start now before you run out of oil. I mean, when you run out of oil, it's like too late at that point. So you're going to have to start working on it now. So eventually when you're getting close to depleting all the reserves, then you can sustainably move on to a different source of energy.
We've talked to numerous former employees. We've looked at satellite images. We've looked at internal financial documents. It's all to find out how and why the world's largest construction project has collapsed.
Did they make any progress? I also didn't know it was called NEOM. I just knew it as the line.
Piece of NEOM became the line.
Yeah, that's the thing I know about.
The state of Connecticut. It had over 7 billion square feet. That is more than the combined square footage of every single building in New York City. It is a pair of twin skyscrapers taller than the Empire State.
But why make it so thin is my question.
Except for a chunk where they tunnel through the mountains. And it would have 9 million people. MBS wanted this to be like nothing the world had ever seen before.
But that legit, if you go back where I can see it, this legit looks like something out of a dystopian movie. Like if you go watch like a Maze Runner or like Mad Max, this looks like something where the top 0.1% lives while everyone else struggles for water outside, you know. Straight out of a sci-fi movie.
And it would have 9 million people. MBS wanted this to be like nothing the world had ever seen before. He repeatedly told his staff he wanted zero gravity architecture that looks like you're in space. Where
makes sense.
When I first saw
something that looks like it's levitating, but it has like hidden support columns and stuff. Okay, makes sense.
My thought was, there is not enough money out there to do this. How on earth is this government going to fund this? Surely there was going to be a reckoning at some point. Over the past 9 months or so, that reckoning...
You can either go for aesthetics or functionality, right? Because if you go for both at that scale, you're not going to have enough money to achieve any of them. You have to pick. You know that triangle thing of money, time, and something, energy. Money, time, energy. You can only have two at any point in your life. At some point you have energy and time. At some point you have energy and money. At some point you have money and time, but you don't have energy. You know, that kind of thing. Like you can only have functionality, aesthetic, and affordability, and you can only have two of those. You can't have all three.
What our reporting shows is that construction on all the major projects has stopped or is winding down. We've talked to numerous former employees who worked on the project.
That's nothing.
By them and many others is that
they didn't even make any progress.
Would be too costly to restart.
Did they even manage to build one windmill?
We reached out to NEOM for comment on the project's current dedevelopment status, but we didn't get a response.
I mean, of course.
Yasser Al-Rumayyan, the head of Saudi Arabia.
Well, what are they gonna say? What are they gonna say? If you ask them, hey, what happened, and they look and they look at you and they go, we fucked up. We fucked up, actually. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Investment fund, the sovereign
I think that's realistically gonna happen.
Said that no projects have been canceled at NEOM. Instead, he characterized it as a reprioritization.
هل اللاين ضروري انه نجيبه في 2030 اعتقد لا اكيد انه it's good to have, it's not must have.
It's difficult to get a really clear picture of internal finances at NEOM. The PIF annually publishes its financial statements, but it doesn't break out specifics for NEOM. What they
The
showed us
PIF
was
portfolio.
some large, what you call impairments or write-downs on their capital projects, of which NEOM is the largest.
Mhm.
They wrote off 46.8 billion Saudi riyals in 4.7 billion in 2024, and that's the equivalent of writing off 12 billion US dollars or 17 billion in 2024. What we understand from multiple people familiar with
The lines
matter
are the
is that the country has spent well over $50 billion on NEOM now and will spend many billions
21 Elite. I see the new ship is paying off.
more simply winding down the project. So, how did we get here?
So apparently they stopped
In
constructing
the
it.
beginning, to craft what NEOM would be, they assembled a roster of top Western consultants and came up with an enormous number of ideas. We got
Dude, I
access
feel
to
so sick. I feel so sick, as in like actually sick. Not like cool sick, but like actually physically sick. Because I was recording German snack tier list just before this, and there was so much chocolate. So much chocolate. I don't like chocolate. I don't like chocolate like that. And I now just feel sick.
a 2,000 plus page document that detailed all of these ideas. There's an artificial moon. There's
Artificial
an idea
moon?
for Jurassic Park theme park. They also had
Final Fantasy. Wait. Where is it? Artificial Moon, Jurassic Park theme park, Final Fantasy theme park, Project Pioneer, Garden of Four Seasons. Other theme parks. Dude, Saudi loves theme parks. Don't they have a Mr. Beast theme park somewhere? They just love building theme parks, apparently.
that detailed all of these ideas. There's an artificial moon. There's written down an idea for Jurassic Park theme park. They also had plans to control the weather.
Mm-hmm.
So here is the artificial moon plan, and it calls for it to be the
That's
biggest
fun.
installation in the world. They give an example of a potential partner as NASA.
Yeah, right.
The ideas from consultants became the blueprints for
Uh-huh,
several key
sure thing.
subprojects. The biggest subproject was the line. You then had Trojena, which is a ski resort in an arid desert mountain where they would have snow 3 months of the year, where snow only today falls in sprinklings and melts right away. There was Oxagon, which was supposed to be a advanced port city for logistics and modern manufacturing of all
Okay.
types. And then there was Sindala, which is a
Does Saudi do
high-end
any
resort
manufacturing?
on an island aimed at the super yacht crowd. Early on, to get this done, staff realized they had a mountain of concerns they were going to need to overcome. We got hold of a document that outlines a huge number of the concerns, and it ranges from environmental to
Let me wear this so
ability,
people think I'm
architecture,
smart.
to buildability. And here's a key one. Cost will be astronomical. For me, when I saw this, it told us that there were people on the inside seeing what seemed so obvious from the outside, which is this project was on a scale that couldn't be done. You can see in the latest satellite images that they actually had done a ton of work. In the line, you can see over the past few years,
They actually started building it, eh?
70 miles of land plus, and dug a trench.
Give me 1 second, I will read
supposed
it.
to be the
I'm almost done with
trains
this, I think.
and the infrastructure for the line.
It's 10 minutes
And
already.
then a thing they called the marina, which is this giant basin where yachts were supposed to come in, and the first 3 chunks of
Of
the line were going to
course,
be
of
built.
course, they are facilitating
They dug all the way
yachts.
down.
That's a
150
priority.
feet below sea level, and then started to put these massive concrete piles another 150 feet into the earth.
Dude, I wonder
And
where,
then
where they got
late
where
last
they
year, that
got all the
was
sand from
If
for
you
construction.
look down at Trojena, you can see this.
For the amount of construction
giant
Saudi does,
outline
I'm
of-
curious where they get all the sand from. And before you say it, no, you cannot use desert sand for construction. You need like a riverbed sand. Like you need like special sand for construction. There's like an international sand mafia that
where
controls the
lake is
supply
going to be. And There's even this weird structure that was going to be called the Enchanted Forest, which was going to be a forest beneath the lakes with a tunnel that connects to the land. And then at the very end of this lake is where they were spending all this money to build this dam that would just have enormous amounts of concrete and steel. The Wall Street Journal acquired a set of videos from workers who were working on
So the work was happening. So why did they stop?
You can see that the site was really far along, and you can see the...
And if they stopped because they realized it would take too much money, then why did you start to begin with? Did you not know it was going to be expensive when you started? Or was it all just like a big PR stunt?
Ski village,
billions of dollars worth of PR stunt.
Workers all were told the same thing, which is construction has stopped. We're moving out. In Sindala, you can see that an enormous amount of work had gotten completed and then simply stopped. The golf course, which was once green, that's gone brown. And you have another end of the island where simply work hasn't happened at all. That was supposed to by now have a Four Seasons. A key point about NEOM is that it is MBS's project. He is the developer and he's the bank. He's the chair of NEOM. He's the chair of...
So is he not interested? Is he busy with something else? What is happening?
He's chair of the Public Investment Fund, which funds NEOM, and he runs...
So this all sound I knew.
This structure fed into everything.
That's why I explained
it. Led to a lot of problems. We reviewed a draft internal audit of the project that found a conscious manipulation of financials of NEOM by staff. This was common, according to former employees that we spoke to. We reviewed the financials of Trojena from a 2023 document.
So who was embezzling money? MBS was embezzling money or someone else was embezzling money?
And had hit $39 billion. This was a problem because the Crown Prince
casually spent so much
all
money.
the projects to be profitable. So when project staff made proposals and came up with renderings, they needed to show that a project would actually, over time, pay back to the Saudi state. What did staff do? So we can see in this presentation that to adjust for the rising costs, they also increased the expected revenue that they were going to be getting from all of the things at the project. An inventive glamping site was envisioning that it would get 260...
So they just botched up the financial projections and they were like, yeah, we'll just make it back.
$1 a night.
People are gonna buy so much stuff. So many people are gonna visit. Trust me. 20 million per day. But that physically, no, 20 million per day, I'm telling you.
Adjusted it to $704.
So many people are going to visit.
Be much more
Trust.
Even though no conditions on the ground had changed from one month to another. This was just one little piece of NEOM, but it had big implications for what was going on throughout the project. NEOM was described as a $500 billion.
And that's what happens on like movie sets also. It's like a weird parallel, I know, but
Wall Street Journal showed that the capital required to build out NEOM to its end state by 2080 was 8.8
not even billions, trillions.
25 times Saudi's annual budget at the time for the whole country.
I mean, yeah, when you look at the vision they were going for, it makes sense.
Interpreting and misrepresenting the figures, but declined to provide additional detail. What we have heard out of NEOM is that they are focused on Oxagon.
فيها ميناء لاستقبال
Okay, they're building a port. Okay, makes sense.
للتصدير وللاستيراد. فيها مراكز بيانات كثيرة وفيها العديد من الشركاء.
Doesn't hurt to build a port.
مستثمرين أجانب وسعوديين في المنطقة هذه.
Starting late last year, NEOM began
Tonks.
contracts of many of the projects that were underway. In recent months, we've started to see public acknowledgement of that. CEOs have been talking on conference calls about how their work at NEOM is over.
The project like NEOM is now in the doldrums and is not happening anymore.
The two NEOM contracts in Saudi Arabia were cancelled.
The basic structural problem at NEOM was what we've referred to in the past as a dance of mutual delusion. It was a project where truth simply couldn't be told. MBS had fantastical views of what NEOM should be, but the people around him wouldn't tell him it was impossible.
Okay.
It's a tale of many things, a tale of Icarus, a tale of the Emperor's New Clothes.
So there's all
where
sand. I mean, yeah.
the fantastical visions of a crown prince collided with the financial reality.
Interesting.